It's a beautiful day, isn't it? Oh, it is. I think there's someone with a ladder, maybe a window cleaner nearby. And I have the window open. Are you okay with the window open? But I keep hearing something, so I hope it doesn't disturb us. How are you? I'm so pleased that you're here. I think we've got a nice few days ahead of us. Some sunny weather. It started off quite nice with the sun, and then we've had very mixed weather with strong winds and really quite heavy rains. But it looks to be settled. I can see an aeroplane in the sky there. Someone's heading off on their holiday. A few cars are coming and going. Don't you think though that when you're going on a holiday, it's sometimes a little bit disappointing when the weather is actually really nice where you're setting off from? It's nicer to be flying off somewhere when it's raining and cold, as knowing that you've got the warm weather ahead of you. But it's still nice to have a break. When I was sorting out some things recently, I came across some vinyl music, and it just made me reflect a little bit on, well, decades ago now, and my growing up years when I lived in Holland. And the music back then, and I absolutely loved the music, the 70s music, the 1978 in particular stands out to me. 77, but I was only young. My parents used to take us to bars in Holland or parties, and there was always great music playing, disco music, a real variety. And yeah, I was going just back through these vinyls, and I had a melancholy moment of reflecting on music, and then also TV programs. What was your favourite programme, or in the 70s, late 70s, or maybe early 80s? Oh yes, I must admit I absolutely did really enjoy the glossy soaps back then. Entirely shallow but entertaining. And there was, because there were spin-offs as well, wasn't there? So obviously the Dallas, and then there was Colby's Dynasty. My neighbour's just driving back. You'll hear the crunching of the shingle out there. I digress. And then yes, there was the spin-off, I think, from Dallas was Knots Landing, wasn't it? And then one that I wasn't as keen on, but I watched a bit of, was Falcon Crest. Is that right? But there was just something about the television then that was a little bit of just escapism. escapism. There's some really good things now. Really good dramas, really good informative programs as well now. And different box sets that you just get drawn into and you can lose yourself, which is good some days but not every day, as enjoyable as it can be. And then just my train of thought as I was reflecting upon music and then television reminded me of getting my weekly magazine from the news stations that I used to go over with my, I suppose, pocket money and buy obviously sweets. And the magazine was called Lookin', and it was just full of TV, film, music, celebrities, obviously horoscopes and things like that, but there was always a page where it had a celebrity on, and I particularly remember the Charlie's Angels, which again, I actually really did like Charlie's Angels. And then each episode I used to go, oh no, she looks really nice today, oh no, she looks nicer today, no, she looks nice. And they were all great together with Bosley. Yeah. And who was the voice that came out? It was Bosley. Who was the voice that came out of the apparatus on the desk? Oh, I can't think. Maybe you know? Do you know? I know in real life it was the actor that played Blake in the Colbys. I think. Might be wrong. I think. Yeah, just thinking Charlie's Angels on the pages, and it wasn't just them, it was, I think, celebrities. But it had literally a question for them and just factoids, so their height, their eye colour, their favourite sport, I suppose, their hobbies. I think they did also do, music acts, like individual ones from Duran Duran, like John Taylor or Simon Le Bon, or I can't really remember now. Well, I can sort of remember, but I just particularly liked those factoid questions, little nuggets of information. It is nice sometimes just to reflect. Also, when I was sorting out some bits and pieces, I came across my gems. And notes about them. The moss agate. It tells you the physical benefits, mental and emotional benefits, spiritual. Blue lace agate. The golden labradorite and jade. And some notes as well. But I think what I'll do, shall we spend some time together going through the crystals at some point, and perhaps like this. I think this is quartz. This is what I want to just come out the back. We can spend some time together healing each other. Should we do that? Go through them. get some benefits from these beautiful crystals. I look forward to that. I can see a little selection in there. And the bag that toppled over. That'd be nice, won't it? So I'll keep these safely and I will do that, because it won't hurt to get a bit of extra help, will it? I have got the book. Yeah, would you like me to read to you a little bit more of it? It's such a beautiful book. Yes, The Cottage Fairy Companion. Rediscover the magic of the ordinary. Mindful ways to live in alignment with the cycles of nature, recipes and activities, and to take away to live a more enchanting life. With original watercolour illustrations, poems and photography depicting small wonders of nature, and tips on how to be mindful while gardening, reading, decorating, crafting, baking, making tea, painting. Isn't that a lovely little painting? Can you see that? The little robin. I do like to see a robin in the garden. It's very quiet out there in terms of birds. I think I said this when we last were having a chat. Normally there's pigeons and birds and noises. Okay. Yeah, just sit back and relax. I'll read you a few paragraphs. This one is a gentle start. Spring will always be my favourite time of year. I didn't notice the change of seasons much when I lived in the city, which I now realise was due to a lack of observation. Even there, signs of spring were visible. The green tips budding from the trees, the way the air loses its frosty demesne, and giving way to something far gentler and inviting. I sometimes wish I could step back in time and relive those years, more aware of the subtle, fascinating shifts in my environment. Transforming my experience of daily life was a slow process. Not a grand one, change that happened overnight. Instead, it was a sweetness that seeped into my world, bringing a warming sense of purpose along with it. To spend the days with the goal of simply noticing a little more, hurrying a little less. So true. It didn't suddenly change the pace of my life, as work and family kept me forever busy, as it still does now. Instead, I began to invite my mind not to rush along with the pace of my body, to try to take a moment, when possible, to reflect on what the day has offered, instead of consciously defaulting to worrying on my phone for comfort. How could I enrich my day and find those little moments of magic throughout? I started this process by reigniting my imagination and a more childlike sense of joy. On an overcast day in April, I purposefully jumped in my first rain puddle in 15 years. I got mud all over my boots and couldn't help but throw my head back and laugh at my own silliness. The same day I spotted a spider's web and became absolutely encaptured by it. The rain had left it glittering maze of dewy fibres, and instead of simply noting the beauty and moving on, I now try to stop and absorb every detail, There is something indescribably healing in looking closely. I had an insatiable fascination with all things fantasy and fairies when I was a child, and most evenings you could find me crawling through the fields of clover and hiding behind tree stumps with a little insect net just in case I found a pixie frolic. What I intended to do with such a creature if I caught one, I hadn't the slightest idea. Having since grown a bit wiser, my obsession has been tamed and turned to learning the intricacies of nature, the rhythms of life and death among flora and fauna. As a herbal tea lover and a very amateur forager, I've enjoyed the quiet hobby of learning how to respectfully utilise the plants around me, learning to enjoy the delicacies of nature while allowing them to prosper by taking only small amounts. I seek them out in forgotten corners of my valley where other humans do not tread. In the city, this had not been possible, so every year I would take great joy in selecting my seeds to cultivate a little herb garden on my porch. Whether you have limited access to nature or not, I think great joy can be found by considering how you might bring life into your home. I think this can be especially beneficial in the city, where there is less greenery and little that is wild and untamed. But this does not mean that you must live apart from the natural world, as it is still there, only in more subtle forms. It may be the tender shoots sprouting between sections of the sidewalk, a summer breeze, or the warm sun on your neck. The cycles of dawn and dusk, the moon growing and waning with such grace. There is so much available to be discovered in every environment. Perhaps a way to start would be with one small act of giving, growing a single seed to maturity, something hearty and robust, such as a sunflower or a marigold. Oh, that's nice. Turn the page over so we know where we are. Then we'll continue with a meditation for intentional living. It's lovely, isn't it? It's just nice to dip into, in and out. And as I say, she's got a channel on YouTube, Cottage Fairy Companion. But it's just nice to read a few lines, although I have new glasses at the moment. And it's been something I've been meaning to do for some time. I do wear contact lenses occasionally, but I'm still in the process of updating the strength of those, because I think it's my left eye that has deteriorated slightly, so the lenses I wear aren't quite right. But I have new glasses, and I think they're called varifocals, so it's taken me a bit of time to remember to be looking that way and then looking down for when I'm reading. And my old glasses were very scratched, but I loved them. It was like putting on an old pair of slippers, and I liked the arms, whereas these ones were quite long, and I had to get them adjusted, but in fact now they're just a little bit tight because they're rubbing slightly, but I'm trying to get used to them. These ones are in fact, I think, Gucci ones. Can you see the little emblem? So I'm trying to get used to wearing new ones and trying to look where I'm supposed to be looking. Well, on that note about observing nature and what's around us, the sun is shining, so I think I'm going to put to one side some of my work that I had planned to do on my laptop and some of my writing, although I might take a notepad out into the garden and do a little bit of writing, or try to draw a dragon, because in the children's book that I'm drafting out at the moment, it's about a dragon. So So I need a picture of a dragon, and I may source one, or I may try and draw one. I don't know. But I'm going to go into the garden, and apart from tidying up a few corners of my garden and pots and some hedges, I will make a point of observing a little bit more. It's been so nice you joining me for this time, and we'll do it again soon. Okay? Yes, of course.